All right, great to be back on the grass, working, getting prepared for the Falcons coming in here. And I just always love getting back to Wednesdays, you know, the work that goes into it, the focus of the guys, being able to work together. And, that's what always just brings us back. It's the work, it's the preparation and having the discipline to continue to build this team and work together and communicate.
Dave, yes, Sunday you guys had kind of one of your poor run offense performances, not just because of the score, but what do you think was the issue up front as far as the run game was concerned?
Yeah, I thought the Cardinals did a really good job. Just when we were in our base plan and some of our base runs, they played it well. We got a couple of yards out of it. And I think after that with the turnovers and then going in 20-3 into the half, we're in a different mode. And so to me, I believe in the run game. I believe the runs, they start to add more and more the further into the game that you get to. So I would love to get our team to playing that style of football that we're used to, that balanced, complementary football of defense and offense where we can run the ball, be balanced, throw play actions, get into our dropbacks and quicks and empties, like we have. I want to see that mix come alive. So certainly not where we want to be right now. But, it's something that if we can just start off with execution, we can start off with playing normal football, we'll see that part come alive.
Last year in this Atlanta game, Week 18, you saw both quarterbacks actually play pretty well, very well.
Yeah.
After which you said Bryce is our guy. Where's your confidence level with him 2 games into this season?
Yeah, super high. There's stuff, obviously Bryce would come up here and say he'd like to clean up, from the first 2 games, but I'm fired up about where we're headed, in a game where we had 90 plays, you get a lot of information about the other guys that come in, Bryson Tremaine making a couple of plays, Hunter continuing to get comfortable in there and certainly T-Mac, because this is 2 games in. So gathering a lot of information about our group as we continue to play was exciting, to be able to just learn that, that's again, I say like the games are so valuable and teach us a lot about our guys.
What's it going to take for Jimmy Horn to get more time on the field?
Yeah, we're evaluating Jimmy every week, and he's got to just continue to grow and wait for his opportunity, and it's a full team thing, is where does he fit, how does he fit, and that's the part that, Dan and I and the coaching staff are, talking about weekly.
In relation to Bryce, we saw there in the second half of the season, he played some of his best ball.
Yeah.
And Cade Mays was in there at center.
Yeah.
What kind of role did Cade play in that success, and what did you see from Cade overall back then that has him in this role of getting your confidence in him?
Cade was invaluable for us, and he was on the Giants practice squad, and we claimed him back, when Corbs got hurt last year, and he did a great job, settling into the system and really, learning how to communicate with the guys and helping us to function, and he was a big part of that growth. He was in a competition this camp, and he did a great job, and it was close, and Corbs edged him out in the competition of it, but, those reps and that time on task is going to pay dividends for us.
Coach, I wanted to... As it gets going, is the current split between Chuba and Rico, especially with Rico on third down, is that kind of what you anticipate, or is that fluid?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I would love to just, get into the normal flow of our games to be able to see how that rhythm plays out, but I'm glad they're both here. And certainly Chuba's our guy, we want to start it that way, but Rico is very talented, in the run game and the pass game. So, we'll see how that plays out.
Coach, wanted to follow up on Leggett. How has he responded the last, 2 days? And with the criticism that he's facing, how do you coach up a player who's probably never faced that amount of criticism as before?
Yeah, just be the same guy. It's about the work. I truly believe that hard work pays off. And I've seen that happen for players who just continue to battle. You just continue to improve. You attack every day with focus. You attack every day with hard work. He's doing all the right things. And, we got his back. We're all encouraging him to just keep pushing forward, keep evaluating yourself on film, take the coaching points of it, and at the end of the day, have fun. Just go win. Go win like you know how to win. And I truly believe that's what he's going to be.
Health, do you expect him to play Sunday?
Yeah, so, as a precaution, he just had some hamstring soreness. He started off the practice, and he got through, the individual part of it, and then we just thought it was smart to just kind of shut him down for the day. We'll reevaluate him and see where we're at tomorrow.
So he hurt on Sunday?
What's that?
He hurt his hamstring on Sunday?
No, not that I know of. It was today the soreness kind of just popped up, and we're talking about 90 plays, which he was in for about 65 or 70. I don't remember the exact number, but he got a high volume. There was a lot of guys who had a high volume today that, we had to kind of be smart with and manage some different guys. But, challenged them after practice today. I said, okay, tomorrow we're putting the pads on and we go, So the guys are, responded well to that, and that challenge for the group.
Dave, we saw Xavier kind of thrive as a red zone weapon early on in his rookie year. Do you see teams maybe playing him differently, or do you think this is more so
I think it's just the ops, I think it's just opportunities in the red zone, and we're designing stuff for X, and we're designing stuff for T-Mac, for JT, and some of those are kind of our primary guys, that we're trying to feature down there, and just the way that it played out, and it's our job as coaches to continue to put Xavier in the best position possible on the things he does really well. And we'll keep evaluating that, and that will help this too. I can't wait to just be able to get him catching the ball and running big and fast, and to be able to just get that first play in and just feel comfortable and just let it rip.
What do you see on film from this Atlanta defense, and how much different is it than the one you?
They did a great job this offseason helping themselves with some young players and some veteran players, up along the front in particular, with Jalen Walker, with James Pierce, having Leonard Floyd and Ebiketie, who was, a solid player last year as well. They did an awesome job retooling there. Xavier Watts is another guy that we really liked in the process. And Billy Bowman, who was really productive in college, is showing that he still has great hands and he can make plays when he gets opportunities. So, and I'm just talking about the newcomers, obviously Bates is still there, and, we'll see on Terrell. But this is a really good group, and I think the thing I admired about them last year, which is the same this year, is how hard they play and how they play together. I admire that. I admire teams when they fly around and they team tackle, and they're communicating and doing all those things. So that gives them, a chance to be, really successful on defense.
You mentioned a lot of reps. Hunter Renfrow played probably more football last week than he's played in a long time. How's he holding up to the physical strain of that part of his job?
Yeah, great. And battling through some bumps and bruises last week too, to get out there and perform the way he did, and be someone we can count on coming out of it with 2 touchdowns. And we're just continuing to grow together, and learn from the things that he's able to do. But I'm excited about the progression that Hunter's been on.
Follow up on the Atlanta defense with the 2 rookie rushers, specifically both local to the area. But I'm curious what may have stood out from your pre-draft interactions with them, and what impact you've seen from Jalen and James.
I think Jalen, first and foremost, just leadership. I think tireless worker. That's what you see on film. He's just constantly chasing things and trying to solve problems, trying to find ways to have an impact. James Pierce, the physical traits, the athletic ability, just his linear speed, and his ability to, translate that into power, So these are 2, really talented young players.
Go ahead.
It's hard to find someone who doesn't say something superlative about Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
His head coach called him the best player in football earlier today. So what exactly does he pose to this Panthers defense?
Yeah, he's just a really balanced player. He's explosive in the run game and the pass game. He's got great vision, power, quickness, speed, all the things that you want, and also just his gamesmanship. He's a competitor, and you can see him fighting. You can see him trying to find a way to affect the game and help his team.
That week,
He had 265 and 4 touchdowns against him last year. What things differently do you got to do against him?
Play together, team tackle. We got to rally to the ball. When you have a fantastic player like this, it takes multiple people to make sure they're doing their assignment, and everybody rallying to the ball, everybody being there, and trying to limit the amount of space that he gets. The more space he has, the more dangerous he can be. So it's got to be team football.
What do you remember about that Week 8? Like what stuck out to you as you look back at that Week 18 game now, particularly where Bryce and Michael just seem to kind of be punch for punch, back and forth?
Yeah, I think it's the speed of play. It was groups that were playing really comfortably together on both sides. There was chemistry there. There was just this simple me to you factor. I've been playing with these guys for a while. I know where they're going to be when they're going to be there, and that's what emerged. And then 2 quarterbacks making really smart decisions with the ball, and finding their opportunities to try to hit the explosive plays, and also just trying to extend drives, whether that's with a short completion a scramble play, all those things. There's more than one way to win the game, and that's what it felt like to me from both guys.
I want to ask you one more.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything specifically that you're seeing in what he's doing, either his route running or just he's back to catching with his body? Anything that you're seeing that is holding him back right now?
Nothing specific. I think it's just a matter of just keep pounding, keep working through it, keep taking the coaching, and the opportunities will find you. And it's not all on X. This is me too. I have to make sure I do a great job of putting him in positions to do the things that he's shown us he can do well in the past. So, I take it personal as well. And that's something that I'm committed to making sure that happens. And, Rob Moore is right next to him. He's in his ear and just continuing to coach him and talk to him. And that's the thing too, is for all the guys, remember who you are. Remember what you've been at your best, and you'll do that again. And that's this type of self-talk that you have to have and believe that if I continue to work, I'll do that again. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.